Hells Angels members who made the catastrophic mistake of crossing international cartels. From Canadian kingpins executed in paradise to international smugglers facing firing squads, these stories reveal a brutal truth. In the cartel's world, there are no second chances. Imagine waking up in a Mexican beach town, the Caribbean breeze promising just another day in paradise. For Mathieu Barbu Ballon, December 2024 would mark his last sunrise. This wasn't some low-level street dealer. Ballon operated at the pinnacle of organized crime, orchestrating the movement of cocaine from South American jungles all the way to Canadian streets. His sophisticated network connected Quebec's Hells Angels chapters directly to Mexico's most powerful trafficking organizations. That morning began like countless others. Ballon maintained his routine with military precision, hitting the gym to keep the physical edge that had served his criminal career for decades. His wife, Andre Ann Vinola Sullivan, shared his fugitive status, both wanted by authorities for flooding Quebec with cartel cocaine. What Ballon didn't realize as he climbed into his Jeep was that professional assassins had already positioned themselves with sniper-like focus. The execution was surgical. 5 rounds penetrated his skull in rapid succession, each bullet strategically placed by killers who'd clearly done this before. When Mexican police processed the crime scene, they discovered more than a dozen shell casings scattered like deadly confetti around the vehicle. This wasn't random violence. This was a calculated termination. Why would cartels eliminate such a valuable business partner? Montreal investigators revealed Ballon had become a critical link in massive cocaine shipments heading north. But somewhere in this lucrative arrangement, something went catastrophically wrong. Perhaps he pocketed cartel money that wasn't his to take. Maybe a major shipment vanished under suspicious circumstances. Or possibly, he attempted to build his own competing pipeline. In the cartel's unforgiving mathematics, any of these betrayals carries only one penalty: death. Halfway around the world, another Hells Angels member would learn that cartel partnerships extend far beyond Mexican borders. Wayne Schneider had built his criminal reputation in Australia's Hells Angels chapters before relocating to Pattaya, Thailand. This coastal resort city, notorious for its lawless underbelly, had become ground zero for Australian criminals seeking to dominate Asia's exploding methamphetamine markets. November 2015 brought Schneider's violent end, but not from cartel hitmen. Instead, 5 of his own Hells Angels brothers kidnapped him at gunpoint from his villa. They transported him to a nondescript apartment, bound him to a chair, and beat him until he stopped breathing. This methodical torture wasn't spontaneous rage, it was orchestrated punishment. Thai investigators connected Schneider's murder to a collapsed methamphetamine operation, with evidence suggesting Mexican cartel involvement. The Sinaloa cartel and other Mexican organizations had been exporting their industrial-scale meth production expertise to Southeast Asia, transforming regional drug markets. Schneider had apparently been entrusted with managing crucial cartel relationships and overseeing significant shipments. When that responsibility catastrophically failed, the cartels didn't need to send their own executioners. They simply communicated their displeasure to Schneider's Hells Angels superiors, who understood the message perfectly. By killing Schneider themselves, the Australian bikers demonstrated their commitment to cartel partnerships and their willingness to eliminate their own when business relationships soured. In international drug trafficking, loyalty to profitable partnerships often supersedes brotherhood. Jimmy Cornier represented organized crime's ultimate success story until he became its cautionary tale. Between 1998 and 2012, this Montreal mastermind orchestrated a trafficking network that generated over $1 billion, moving marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy across the US-Canada border. His operation wasn't just large, it was architecturally brilliant, connecting Hells Angels transportation networks with Italian mafia distribution channels and Sinaloa cartel supply lines. The Hells Angels provided Cornier something invaluable: a cross-border infrastructure that could move massive quantities of contraband past customs officers who barely glanced at leather-clad bikers making routine runs. Meanwhile, Cornier's Sinaloa cartel connection ensured a steady flow of high-quality cocaine at wholesale prices that made his operation virtually unbeatable in Canadian markets. But success bred arrogance. When Cornier established a $2 million assassination fund designed to silence potential witnesses, he crossed an invisible line. This wasn't the quiet violence that authorities occasionally tolerated in criminal underworlds. This was a brazen hit squad funded like a corporate department, and it made Cornier's entire organization a priority target for international law enforcement. His 2015 arrest and 27-year prison sentence sent shockwaves through multiple criminal organizations. For the Sinaloa cartel, Cornier had transformed from valuable partner to dangerous liability. His high-profile operation attracted exactly the kind of government attention that cartels spend billions avoiding. While cartels typically eliminate such liabilities permanently, Cornier's imprisonment served their purposes equally well. Behind bars, he understood that cooperation with authorities would sign his own death warrant, keeping cartel secrets safely locked away with him. In 2024, Hells Angels member Damian Ryan and associate Adam Pearson found themselves charged in one of the most bizarre criminal conspiracies in recent memory: a murder-for-hire plot targeting an Iranian dissident on American soil. This wasn't typical organized crime violence. This was political assassination involving foreign intelligence services, international terrorist networks, and the Sinaloa cartel. The plot connected an Iranian criminal organization directly to Mexican cartels and Canadian Hells Angels members. Organized crime analyst Antonio Nicaso expressed shock at the Hells Angels' involvement, noting that political assassinations fall completely outside their traditional criminal portfolio. Motorcycle clubs build empires through drug trafficking, extortion, and underworld violence, not geopolitical murder plots. So why would the Hells Angels participate in something so drastically outside their expertise? The answer likely lies in cartel pressure. When your business partners control your cocaine supply and possess the capacity for unlimited violence, saying no becomes increasingly difficult. The Sinaloa cartel's involvement probably meant the Hells Angels weren't asked to participate, they were told. The arrests exposed this overreach immediately, bringing precisely the kind of national security attention that successful criminal organizations desperately avoid. For the Hells Angels, the failed operation represented catastrophic judgment. For the cartels, it represented another liability created by unreliable partners. Such failures often result in brutal recalibrations of business relationships. The Hells Angels' 2025 expansion into Latin America represented their most ambitious and most dangerous international gambit. Establishing chapters in São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Santiago, the motorcycle club attempted to carve out territory in regions dominated by some of history's most violent criminal organizations. Initially, the Hells Angels operated as cartel auxiliaries, providing protection services and facilitating trafficking operations. But the fundamental problem was hierarchical. In North America, Europe, and Australia, the Hells Angels were accustomed to being apex predators in their criminal ecosystems. In Latin America, they found themselves reduced to junior partners serving organizations like the Sinaloa cartel, Los Zetas, and Cartel del Golfo. These Mexican cartels operate less like criminal gangs and more like paramilitary forces controlling territory with near-governmental authority. The breaking point came when individual Hells Angels chapters attempted to exceed their subordinate roles, trying to claim larger pieces of Mexico's drug trade rather than accepting their auxiliary status. A 2024 incident saw a Hells Angels-linked trafficker killed in Mexico, likely for overstepping boundaries in cartel territory. This execution wasn't about eliminating one problematic individual. It was a message to the entire organization. The cartels guard their dominance with ferocious violence, and they viewed the Hells Angels' expansion ambitions as direct challenges to their authority. State crackdowns followed, and cartel retaliation proved swift and brutal. The Hells Angels had fundamentally misunderstood Latin American power dynamics, attempting to import their traditional operational model into a region where they would never be more than subordinate partners. These 10 stories share a common thread. Underestimating cartel power carries fatal consequences. Whether operating in Mexican beach towns, Thai resort cities, Arizona deserts, or South American metropolises, Hells Angels members discovered that international drug cartels operate by different rules entirely. Cartels don't negotiate with partners who betray them, steal from them, fail them, or attract unwanted attention. They eliminate problems permanently. For the Hells Angels, these painful lessons revealed the limits of their international expansion and the dangers of partnerships with organizations exponentially more violent and sophisticated. In the world of transnational drug trafficking, brotherhood means nothing when business relationships fail. Loyalty is currency, and betrayal's price is always paid in blood.